The duo is back for another post-game show. We have a take two for the week 3 action. And, we had some good overtime games, so we brought in someone who is very, very used to the spotlight in big games. 3 championships himself. Chris, how we feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean, this is the real duo here. We go back to the Titans. No disrespect to Connor there with the weekly rebound duo, but this is like real chemistry here.
Yeah, no, we were on the court together, and before Chris became one of the greatest GMs we've seen, we were running around with Stead and Ty and the boys. So shout out them. But speaking of 2 teams that I think these 2 teams can kind of figure out and look at where we came from for a little inspiration, because that's Street Ballers and Get Money. I mean, Street Ballers and Lux Gang. And I said Get Money because I think Lux Gang and Get Money are running into similar problems where they're starting the season off slow, and Street Ballers did take down Lux Gang 79-74, and it was the Joito Acosta show. Joito Acosta continues to be a problem. He's phenomenal. Don't look now, but his legacy career, he's played 2 seasons. He averages 27 a game on 54% shooting, 45% from 3. He also took 66 free throws last year, and he 70% from the line. This guy's a problem. He's a great player. He is the Street Ballers superstar. He's their star. Everything they do runs through him. He had 12 boards. He does it all. He plays defense. And I think he was just too much for this Lux Gang team. Lux Gang, like I said, Get Money. They just got to keep their head up and keep pushing, and kind of do their thing. I mean, Chris, I know you've been, in and out looking at these. You see anything from either of these teams, or you got any advice for them? They're kind of on the outside looking into the playoff picture.
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on it. Acosta is he's one of the best players in the league. Realistically, he had 34 points.
Yeah, he's a problem.
As obviously an MVP candidate at this point. And I feel like, he probably won't win it, but he's one of those guys that is going to come out and give you what you need. He's going to give you 20 plus every time he touches the court. I remember he played very well against TMC last year too. He had that, I think he threw the ball between Reggie's legs and there was some crazy play. But yeah, I always I like the Street Ballers team. They're one of the scrappy teams. They're one of the teams that, the top teams shouldn't lose to, but if they play around a little bit, they're one of the teams that could go for an upset and probably beat any team in the league. And Lux Gang is they're going through growing pains, it seems like, again, honestly, because they were here last season,
Yep.
Trayvon Jones had 30 points. That's 30-point games in this league is nothing, they don't come easy, obviously. Close game. This one went to overtime too, right, Greg?
Yeah, no, went to overtime. This was a battle. I just think in the end, Lux Gang,
Lux Gang had the best player on the
enough.
court, and that's usually how it goes in these games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. You best player on the court, you usually win. And I think these teams are very evenly matched. I think that these teams could see each other again. And, I said it in the past post-game show, Lux Gang they're going to figure it out, Lux Gang. They started off, they played BTFO, the free agent team week 1, and they fell in that game. And that was a big loss to them because the next few games they got TMC, then they play Street Ballers, then they get Money, and then they get more power week 5. So week 5 is week 4. Take that as a test, see what you can do, grow from that, play Get Money, maybe get an upset win, and then you get more power where I think they can get on the right track and then, tread into the right direction of the playoffs. But for Street Ballers, keep doing your thing. You guys are grinders. Like Steven said, the intern on the first take of this post-game show, they play hard and they play aggressive. So speaking of a team that plays hard, NLMB. And NLMB brought in a new guy, Rocco Swenson, and I'm going to shout out NLMB. They're balling, more power. Keep your head up. That's going to be a theme this post game. Keep your head up, more power. You're going to need to make more threes, more power. You guys need to take more threes. Making 5 threes a game isn't going to cut it. But I'm going to ask Chris a question because he's been in the league for a long time. What does it do to your team when you add a guy like Rocco Swenson, especially for a team like NLMB, when you add a guy who's averaging 21 and 10 a game? He's a big boy. Vinny, the intern, was joking. He wants to get his workout routine. He's going to ask him in the interview. What does this do to a team like NLMB that has shooters, that has veteran guys, but then they add a guy like Rocco who's about 6'3", yoked, and can score at all 3 levels? So what does that do to a team? You've added a bunch of guys over the years.
I think a guy like that just comes in and, you need a big guy on teams like this. And the big guys in this league are 6'3", 6'4". So you need a guy that's going to be able to compete with like the Dave Armstrongs, the Eric Langstons down low for the rebounds. going against the Chad McCoys and guys like that in this league that are pretty big bodies. So yeah, anytime you could add a guy that's 6'3" and just under the height limit and grabs a bunch of boards and can help a team that throws up a bunch of shots, because honestly, when you have a guy like that on the floor, it makes it easier to throw up these shots because you're like, you know what, Rocco's down there, he's going to get the board. And in my day, I used to do that with Dave. I'm like, oh, Dave's down there, he's going to get the board if I miss. It's not a big deal. Just a lot of guys like that. You always need a guy like that.
Yeah, no, I mean I couldn't agree more. You know how much we love Dave on this show. He's a problem. He's just a phenomenal player, and that's something that, like you said, you need a big guy that's going to do the dirty work. And the fact that Rocco can also put the ball in the basket is it's just going to take them to another level. And I think for NLMB, next week they got Run TMC, then they got Get Money. That's going to be two big games. Those are the games where it's welcome to the league for this kid. This is you're going to play the two of the best teams, maybe. I mean, you could argue syndicate. There's a lot of things you could say,
I
but
got I got a welcome to the league moment. Remember, we brought in our buddy there, Matt Shannon, and he got to play
oh yes,
the Monstars his first game and kind of got bullied down there. So yeah, I mean, in those two games too, playing TMC and get money for NLMB, it's not about necessarily winning those games, but if you could prove to yourself that you could stay in a game with those guys, then you could beat them come playoff time. That's really more what it's for.
yeah, no, absolutely, and that's well said because Get Money, the last two seasons, Get Money's made the finals. They've lost 2 to 3 regular season games in these seasons. They've lost games. It's about what Chris said. Just stay in the game, compete. You might win. I mean, that's fine. I mean, a lot of the champions, if you look at the Legacy League's history too, a lot of the champions aren't undefeated most of the time. You go through these highs and lows, and then you come out on top. It's the trials and tribulations. But speaking of the trials and tribulations, we had the game of the week, and that was Run TMC and Get Money. And man, was this a banger! Run TMC beat Get Money 91-83 in overtime, and it was that overtime that was the difference. TMC outscored Get Money 16-8 in that one. Reggie Stewart was phenomenal per usual. Joe Carter is doing his thing. Quan Jackson efficient as always. You had Kyle Davis really doing his thing out there as usual. I mean, the superstars showed up. This was a phenomenal game. Jake Morales had one of his better games, but I think in the end, it just Get Money. Just the last few possessions were a little questionable with the decisions they made, who were taking the shots, and I know it's hard. It's hindsight's 2020 here, but I would love for Kyle Davis to get the ball in those last few possessions. I just think you got to get your best players the ball. If you look at Run TMC in games they've lost in the past, you can say what it is. They try to get Reggie the ball. And that's one thing, you see Pratt on the bench. He's always screaming. Reggie scores. Pratt's hyping him up. Get Money needs some of that. They need more from Taishin and Tyron. I think they're just getting their legs, getting their legs underneath them. They're going to figure it out. This Get Money team is on the classic Get Money path. I mean, they play Lux Gang next week, then they play NLMB, and then they play BTFO, and then they play TMC again. And I wouldn't be shocked if they win all three of those games and are going to the TMC game, on fire. But Chris, you know these teams very well, both of these teams. You've played them, you've beat them. What do you think? What did you see in this one?
I just think it's a classic TMC, not TMC, classic Get Money ending. I think they always play these teams great. Obviously, this game went to overtime. I think this was one of the first games they pretty much had all their guys too. But I
Yep.
just, it's just every time there's always something that they do wrong. Like, you know what I mean? It's just they like can't get out of their own way at the end of these close games. They're either down 10 points and have to come back, or they make the wrong decision, the wrong sub. It's just a bunch. There's always something that this Get Money team is just. I don't know. I think at the end of this game, I think Kyle Davis should have said, "Give me the ball, get out of my way. I'm taking this shot." Because he hit the shot to tie the game with it was probably about 30 seconds left or so,
Yeah,
and
30,
then
40
TMC
seconds.
turns the ball over and he doesn't touch the ball. And then I don't even think he really touched the ball in overtime. I don't think Kyle took a shot in overtime. Um, and I think that's just one of those things you can't do if you're trying to beat these the top team, well, the top dog in the league now, because that's really all that's left is TMC. And you can't there's you can't go down, like, no disrespect, like Jacob Morales is a great player, but why are you pulling up from three with shot? You're not a shooter. Like, I'm not disrespecting you, but your game, you go to the basket. You know what I mean? why doesn't Kyle touch the ball there? I mean, I get what you're doing. You could have if you made it. Yeah, it would be a completely different story. And I'm not here to disrespect anybody because I mean I'm not the best. I'm awful at basketball. If you want to be honest. Um, but yeah, Jake Morales' game is dunking, going to the basket. If Jacob Morales went to the hoop there and missed a dunk, I don't think we wouldn't be having the same conversation. I think the fact that he pulled up from three, I think was just not the right decision. Like I get it in your mind. You're like, you know what, I'm going to make this. You don't take a shot in the game and say, oh, I'm going to miss. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things. And obviously, it comes down to TMC's depth. You're not gonna. It's like the UConn and Providence game the other night. You're not going to beat a team like this in overtime. It's if you are going to win this game, you gotta win it in regulation because a team like this is too deep to lose in overtime. They had three guys with 20 plus points. You're not going to beat a team like this if you have to go to you got to get them when you have them down. And you had a chance, you had the shot at the end of the game, and they didn't do it. But I'm curious to see the second matchup, and we'll probably get a third matchup in this series this season. And again, Reggie Stewart was phenomenal. Joseph Carter was phenomenal. Quan Jackson, phenomenal. Just they shot 60% as a team. Uh, Davon Pratt had 2 points. He didn't even make a field goal in this game. Wow. Eric Langston only had eight. Like there's guys on Dave Armstrong had 2 points. Like those guys had 12 points combined, and those are MVP candidates, players of the year, offensive player of the year guys. Like if those three guys were on different teams, they would probably be leading the league in scoring. So it's like I don't know how you beat this team on paper. Like I don't think there's a team in this league that matches up body for body with this TMC team. When you got three guys on the bench like that are players of the year candidates. So good
Yeah,
luck to
I
everybody.
agree. No, I agree. I think TMC is really deep. They might be too deep this season. It's like you said, like Eric Langston didn't hit a three. There's going to be a few games where he starts hitting from deep, and when he gets hot, he gets hot. And I mean, like Chris said, it's going to be really hard for teams to beat this run TMC team.
We've
You know,
even seen Miles
Vince said
Raymond
it.
get 50.
Hmm.
Look at this. Look at
No,
how deep this team is.
Miles Raymond scored. I think Miles scored
That's
45 in the
like
game.
for lack of like and no disrespect either. That's probably the last option to score on this team
Yeah,
is probably Miles
and
Raymond,
he can get a
and he
bucket.
scored, and we've seen him
Yeah,
score 50 multiple times.
yeah,
Like that just
yeah.
I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, no, Vin said it best. Vin was talking to the interns because a lot of these interns haven't seen Run GMC yet because they've been on other court, and he said, "Don't take it, don't let them take you to overtime," and that's what happened. I just forget money. You need more. I'm with Chris there. Like Jake was having one of the best games, maybe the best game I've ever seen him play in this league, and I just wish he attacked the rim there. But hey, they'll be better. They'll be like this Get Money team. One of the best things I always give them is they are the type of guys that they bounce back. They keep their heads up. They're never going to hang their heads. And they're going to be in it. And like I said, week 7, they're coming back and they're going to be ready for this TMC team. It's going to be right before Valentine's Day, and they're going to want to break some hearts. But let's go to the next
Wait. I
one.
just got to say with Get Money, wait till
Yeah,
Tyron's healthy. That's going to change the whole thing.
true. I agree. I think the McCrays too, and Xavier McCray also was not there. So shout out X. X is a great player off the bench for them. So hey, long season, regular season record doesn't matter, but everyone's zero
No, it
zero when
doesn't.
you enter the playoffs. But speaking of a team that has championship aspirations, we had the Syndicate going against BTFO, and I think this was BTFO's welcome to the league moment. I mean, NLMB did give them a whooping last week, but Syndicate took down BTFO 106-68, and it was a bloodbath. I mean, Alex Rivera went crazy. Mikey Fuller, Eric Moore. I mean, Syndicate had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in double figures, and the one guy who wasn't in double figures is Michael Davis himself. Chris, I'll let you speak about Mike and the Syndicate. You know a lot of these guys. Any advice for BTFO as well?
I think BTFO is just it's going to happen. They're new to this league. It's one of those things. I mean, we've all been there. Me and Greg have played against Mike Davis in this league, and it was at
Unfortunately,
the point where I was like, you know what? If we're going to leave anybody open, it's not going to be this guy. That's just one of those things. But yeah, I mean, anytime you get 22 and 15 from Alex Rivera, I don't know what you're supposed to do with this syndicate team. Um, it's just one of those things. Because I just got to pull something up. I mean, no, and another. No, I'm not disrespecting anybody. He has 22 points on the season now, so he just had 20 points in that game. So he's not obviously he's been letting his guys do his thing, and that's what you kind of got to do in a situation on a team like this. When you make it, you got to be like, you know what, you guys got this. I'm gonna sit back. I know I could get this, but you guys got this. Just one of those things, and it's another really deep team. Just different kind of deep. It's not like it's all guys that like have been in different roles on like some of the backseat roles on these other like the Lord's Armies teams, the Shocker Cities, the Yagaville. It's a group of guys that is they have championships on this team. It's just that they weren't the main guys on those championship teams. Obviously, Mike was the main guy in a lot of them, but we're not talking about him because he didn't really play in this game. Um, but it's another team, and they have championship experience. But it's another one of those things where they'd have to play their best game to knock off one of these top teams. Like they beat Get Money, but Get Money wasn't at their their best. They didn't have. I think they were missing one of the McRae brothers. I think they Chad McCoy
Yeah.
wasn't there.
Yep.
Um, and it's another thing. They shot 62% from the field, and that's I think if you shoot over 60% in this league, I wonder what the all-time record is, but I bet there's very few losses when a team shoots 60%. It's probably close to 1,000 and 0. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where probably they teams probably don't lose when they shoot 60% from the field.
Yeah, no, I mean Syndicate, like you said, this Syndicate team is one of those teams you look at Get Money, look at the Syndicate. Syndicate has a lot of championships on that roster. They have experience, like Chris said. These guys have been in the game, and I think for them, it's good. They're looking at week 5. Next week they play Street Ballers. I think Syndicate, they assume they're going to handle business there. Then they got run TMC. And that's kind of the first test for this syndicate team. They, like you said, they played Get Money. Get Money was a little shorthanded. This is the test. This is the big leagues. I know Mike's been there. Mike's been in these big games. I've seen Jason in them. There's a few guys here who welcome. This is it. You're not the dogs anymore. You are the guys now.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and like you said, we're all kind of just looking forward, I think, this Syndicate versus TMC matchup because we want to see Mike versus Pratt, Mike
Yep.
versus Reggie. First time Mike and Pratt match up in a legacy game. Um, I got a stat for you though, Greg. Mike has never lost to Run TMC.
Wow. Never.
Never lost.
Wow.
Hopefully this is the part that gets cut out. We can put this on the Instagrams.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
this is probably going to be the time he does, but
Ooh.
um, I'm just he's never lost to them, and he's only lost to Reggie one time, and they've matched up a lot over the years. So
Is that Monstars? Probably
he's probably
Monstars.
like 10-9. No, I think it was that semifinals game where Reggie had
Uh,
like 60 points, and
yeah, Reggie
they
went crazy.
Mike was kind of by himself with the serial killers there. But
Yeah, we lost to that team.
yeah, yeah, I did. I was there. I think we only
uh,
had 3 guys for that playoff game.
yeah, that sounds about right.
And they were pressing, and we were like, you know what, dude, we're just gonna go home if you guys
Hmm.
keep pressing. And
The classic legacy
Mike
press.
was like, what the fuck are you guys doing, basically? And that was, yeah, a lot of moments like that early on where we were like, what are, like, I'm pretty sure first game, Greg had to guard Carmine, but we won't talk about that too much.
I did, unfortunately.
But
Did not
here,
go well.
I got a question for you. We'll start to wrap up here. Panthers today, Greg, how you feeling?
Yeah, well, just feeling, I mean, 10.5 underdogs, just going out there having fun, ready to prove the world wrong. Right? I mean, we're playing free, right? If we lose, we lose. Like it's
House money.
whatever,
It's really, I
right?
mean, it's house
The
money at this
Rams
point.
have the pressure on them. Their
Yep.
QB's old. Stafford's gonna be a year older. Like Devontae Adams will be a year older. Like they gotta win. We're a home game. It's our place in the bank. I'm excited. Honestly, it's just exciting. I'm a
It's
little
just
sick
fun to
over
watch a
here.
playoff game.
Exactly. I'm excited. I can just watch a playoff game. So, what about
Speaking of
you?
playoff games, shout out to Connor Sauer there. The Steelers are probably going to
I
get
knew
blown
this
out.
was coming. What
No,
about you?
but
Chargers, Patriots.
we'll
Shout
be
out
we'll be
Ben.
fine, buddy. One more thing before we go, Greg.
Mm,
Is anybody beating TMC this season?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
Um,
either.
I'd
No
be
Flint
shocked.
jersey this year. It's just
No. I'm on TMC this year. Pratt is yelling at me during the games, like you know what he does. He's like, Greg. It's like I didn't even say anything this year.
Yeah, I don't
He
think
just
anybody. I think the only two teams that have a chance are Get Money in the Syndicate, and they have to play. They need like a vintage Kyle Davis, like the game that Kyle Davis just had, but he needs to take that last shot, and
yeah.
they need, or Mike Davis needs to go crazy and drop like 40 points, and that's probably
hmm
the only chance they have.
And I do think Syndicate and Get Money. I think TMC is my top. Syndicate and Get Money need to keep their head on a swivel and focus, especially when they play NLMB. Do not sleep on this NLMB team. They have shooters, and if Christian Dessou and Ante Hodge get hot from three, and now that they have a big guy with people like Alex Willis is a great defender. He's someone who you can put. He loves to guard players. Like don't sleep on these middle of the pack teams. Street Ballers is another team. We saw it last year with Snipe Squad. Snipe Squad played TMC very tough in that semifinals. So
Hey,
just focus
just
up,
just
boys.
gotta win, man. Just win, but get out of there with the dub. Win by one
Just
point
gotta
and
win.
just move on if you have to.
Just gotta win. Just like our Panthers and Patriots. And I hope everyone
Hey,
has a great.
maybe we'll get a Pats Panthers Super Bowl, Greg. That's what we're hoping
I'd
for
take
here.
that. I would take that. But speaking of the Super Bowl, we got some legacy Super Bowls coming up. We got what do we got next week? We got TMC NLMB could be a good one. Street Baller Syndicate, also could be a good
Those would be
one.
two good matchups.
But then we got bangers straight through TMC Syndicate, and then we got Get Money NLMB, and then we got Get Money TMC,
Get Money
and
TMC
then
play again. Yeah, so that'll be.
they play
I can't wait for
again.
that.
It's gonna be a
Shout
good
out to
one.
Joey for finally putting the best team on his schedule twice because it doesn't
Twice,
happen
yeah.
often. I think those are the match. Like we don't want to see TMC play more power a
No,
bunch of times. We
shout
want
out
to
more
see them
power.
play
No,
Get Money twice. We want to see them play the Syndicate twice. These are the matchups we want to see. Not that I
no,
feel like
I agree.
Joey. We didn't know that Mike Davis was going to be on the Syndicate when the
Yeah.
schedule came out, but
No, he had no idea. He had no
but
idea.
these are the matchups we want to see. And
Yeah.
shout out to Joey for giving us the double dose of Get Money and TMC this year, because he doesn't have to do that.
No, facts. And speaking of double dose, I'm gonna go take a double dose of NyQuil because we had a great post game show. It's my flu post game show podcast, and we ride it
Wow.
through. Yeah, shout out the Patriots for Chris. Shout out the Panthers. Shout out the Steelers, and anyone who has their
No, the Steelers are going to lose. Screw them,
anyone who
Greg.
has their playoffs hopes there for three rings himself. The former all-time single game assist leader, Chris Rudzinski. Like I said, three rings. He has three
Hey,
rings.
and the goat intern Greg Horne, he was, he
True.
had a
That's
part in
another
those
Joe
three
Callahan
rings. Don't let
MVP.
him lie to you. He was there first.
I was. No, I was. Shout out the Titans. Real ones remember. For me, Greg. For Chris. Love you all.